Good morning, stackers. Welcome to another episode of Money in the Morning. Sorry I couldn't schedule this ahead of time. This is a very, very weird day for me. This is kind of unexpectedly the last recording we're going to do from this particular basement. So this will be the one. It's funny because it's just a move, but last couple of days you spend a decade in a place, and it's kind of weird, you know. Empty shelves behind me. Weird day, but so starting tomorrow, it'll be live from the apartment over my friend's dad's garage, and we'll have that for 6 months before we get to the basement in Michigan. Hey, Julian, how are you? So no coffee mug today because I've already taken apart my bed. My whole house is in boxes. Today's, we got the old $62 cup of coffee to get us through. Guys on the way to load the pod a little bit later. Don't have to pack up everything today, but today, now that my whole house is in boxes, it will begin. All right, enough about that. We got some cool headlines. I feel like I'm contractually obligated to say that. I say that every single time. Okay, our second one's about Twitter. Our first one is about the Thailand boys being rescued. Okay. That's great, Kimberly. Making friends. Hope you had the speakers on full blast. I don't know what's been going on lately, but my Facebook has also been auto playing noise, and usually it doesn't do that. Even on my phone, I don't have to mute it, but lately I have to mute it because Facebook plays the noise no matter what. I don't know what the deal is there. That is very loud today. Check, check, check. I don't know why this is so loud one day and not loud the next. The soundboard is killing me. Let's try again. Man, is that loud. Yeah, this is it, James. This is the last one, guys. Tomorrow, there'll be no denying that I'm not in a basement because tomorrow there'll be a window behind me. So, and I'm hoping we're starting off with decent internet, but I'm upgrading to, the great internet. Not that I need it great all the time, but sometimes in the afternoon it just gets all cluttered, and I think I get throttled because we use so much. So I need to upgrade my plan just to make sure that doesn't happen. So it'll be faster than here, which is good. Yeah, that's a good idea, Julian. Right. Right. Upgrade. I like the upgrade. Just as I learned how it works, Ryan, they give me the upgrade. I haven't watched any of the tour this morning either. I take that back. I watched like 2 minutes, 3 minutes with my Special K. All right. Let me get this. Who do we got today? We're going to talk FamZoo. All right, here we go. This is for tomorrow. Someday I'll get ahead, but not today. Okay, what's going on here? Now all of a sudden it's super low. That is so weird. All right. Take 5. A name that might not mean much to you, but means a lot to me is this guy, Barry Ray. Barry Ray was a guy who worked on the sound equipment store. When my brother and I hatched this idea when I was 16, he was 13, of starting a mobile disc jockey company that was born, by the way, in a cornfield. Because anything was better than working in a cornfield. We thought, what would be better to meet girls than to work as a mobile DJ? My dad, though, he made us write up this business plan. He had us research equipment, and then he gave us a, quote, loan for supplies. And actually, it was really cool. We paid the loan back early. My dad charged us interest, but we were on that debt repayment plan. But Barry Ray gave the 16-year-old Joe some advice that still resonates with me today. He said this. He said, always remember that you're a professional. Sometimes the gig's not going to go the way you want. Sometimes just not in sync with the audience. But if you did your very best and you stayed professional and you treated it like you were a professional, you're going to earn that check every single day. And better yet, you're going to be true to yourself and you'll be true to your craft. And I think that's going to be our theme today. I think our theme today is professionalism. Live one more time from my mom's half-finished basement in Texarkana, Texas. It's Money in the Morning. Hey there, stackers. I'm Joe Saul-Sehy, Average Joe Money on Twitter. And guess what we're talking about today? I don't know if you know it, but some kids and their soccer coach just got rescued from some caves. Easy for me to say. That's exciting. What does that have to do with your money? We're going to talk about that in our first headline today. And then in our second headline, we're going to talk about Twitter. JPMorgan says that Twitter stock should be still overweight in your position. By the way, overweight, different than when you're sitting at Sunday dinner. Overweight's actually a good thing. We're going to talk about that on today's show. Today's Money in the Morning is brought to you by FamZoo. Thanks, FamZoo, for supporting Money in the Morning. You know, if you're trying to teach your kids about money the modern way, you're not showing them how to unfold bills, because kids don't know about bills. They use plastic every day. You have to teach kids about plastic at home, and FamZoo helps you do that and more. Head to stackingbenjamins.com/FamZoo to help yourself. And if you decide to use our link when you buy FamZoo, guess what? You help out the show too. So thank you very much. All right. You've got stuff to do today. We've got some great headlines. So Laura, kick off this party. Shall you? Shall you? Will you?
Just when you thought the show couldn't possibly get better, it's time for your headlines.
I don't know how it gets better than me botching the beginning of the show. Can't get better than that, right? That's what I love about doing these things live is no editing. It's just out there, man. This was, of course, every single publication on earth, but we're going to take this one from The Guardian. This written by a team of people at The Guardian. I'll link to it on my my Twitter feed, which we'll talk about in a little bit here at Average Joe Money. And I'm going to scroll down and start from the beginning of how this thing happened, because what I like about this particular piece, this is a day-by-day account of them getting the kids out of there. We're not going to go through the whole thing, but I have a point to make here that's about your money. And certainly want to back off for just a second. I realize that this is a big thing involving the potential loss of human life. This is way, 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 way bigger than a few bucks in your wallet, right? Than managing your money. I get it. And when we talked about the engine on that plane recently, and the poor woman, the window breaking, and the poor woman being sucked out of that plane, and we always want to be respectful of that. But that said, I think we can take some lessons here about what I opened the show with, professionalism. Because watching the way, I want to focus on the rescuers, because watching the way that the rescuers worked is a lot like when we talked about the pilot, right? On the, with the plane incident a couple months ago. So Saturday, June 23rd, 12 boys and their coach go down to Tham Luang Nang Non Cave Network in the Doi Nang Non mountain range in northern Thailand after football practice. A search party finds bicycles locked to a fence and shoes and football boots belonging to the boys close to the entrance. A sign outside warns against entering the cave during rainy season. Sunday, the next day, park officials and police begin a major search operation as heavy rain falls. They find handprints and footprints and believe the boys retreated into the tunnels as they became hemmed in by rising waters. Relatives keep vigil outside. Monday, Thai Navy SEAL divers enter the cave searching for the boys, carrying oxygen tanks and food. Makeshift shrines are set up for parents to pray and make offerings. Heavy rain continues. The boys are believed to have retreated further into the cave to an elevated air pocket nicknamed Pattaya Beach. So now we are 2 days in. Day 3. Drainage of the cave begins to provide divers breathing space between water and the ceiling. Divers reach a T-junction far inside, but are forced back by rushing floodwaters that clog a narrow crevice near Pattaya Beach. Thailand's prime minister calls for the nation to support the rescue. Day 4. More than 30 U.S. military personnel from the U.S. Pacific Command arrive at the site, joined by 3 British diving experts. Day 5. Water pumps brought in to drain the rising floodwater so murky it is likened to swimming through coffee. British divers and others scour the mountain looking for alternative entrances. Drones are sent to help find new chimneys that reach down into the cave. Day 6. Prime Minister visits the site, urges the rescuers not to give up hope. Day 7. Rescuers conduct practice drills to safely evacuate the boys if and when they're found. Day 8. Rescuers set up an operating base in a chamber about 700 meters into the cave. Hundreds of oxygen tanks and other supplies are brought in by pulley. Monk's Junction, 1,500 meters, about a mile from the entrance, is reached. What are we at now? Day 9? Day 9. 12 boys and their coach found alive and safe after about 400 meters further along from Pattaya Beach. These kids have been there 9 days. 9 days, and they're found. Sheltering on a ledge surrounded by water more than a mile from the main entrance. They say they're hungry and ask what day it is. I think I'd be incredibly hungry. Day 10, medical team reports the boys and coach are all in good health or only have, quote, light injuries. I'm losing track of my days, guys. The next day, the authorities announced they've reduced the water levels in the first section of the cave by 40%. It's now possible to walk through up to chamber 3 from the entrance. The boys now have foil blankets, food, light, and 7 divers, including medics, to keep them company. The next day, Thai former Navy SEAL Salman Kunan dies during an overnight mission to place oxygen canisters along the route. His own oxygen is believed to have run out, which starkly illustrates how dangerous any rescue involving diving apparatus could be. The next day, pumping reduced water levels significantly. They set up a series of, and I'm going to cut to the chase a little bit here. They set up these lines along the entire cave. They're about 2 miles back into this cave system. They take lines and they string them because the system's complex. And obviously it's like swimming through coffee. Like they said, they set up these lines so that they know the way back. And then they go through practice drills. and they practice again and again, taking kids through these lines. They have a team of divers. They have one diver on the front. They have one diver on the back, kids in the middle. In some places, the kids, because they're too weak to swim, they carry the kid and swim for the kid. The big thing here, the amazing thing here, and obviously the rescue was incredible. We opened the show talking about professionalism. And when it comes to your finances, and once again, I'm not drawing a correlation between this rescue and your financial plan. I'm just saying we can learn from what the rescuers did, because what we see when people deal with their financial pictures, they make emotional decisions. And this was this was the pinnacle of emotional time. And at the beginning, the rescue effort was, hey, let's go into the cave and get them, right? But later on, what happened, and when it was successful, what happened was it was systematic, it was practiced, it wasn't seat of your pants at all. And still they lost a diver. Even when they were doing the right thing, they lost a diver, right? Even when they were professional, it was horrible. I think that the big lesson here, besides turn off your alerts when you're doing a live show, I think the big lesson here is you setting up these milestones toward your goal is a huge part of your financial plan. Setting that guide rope, because every day we're swimming in coffee. I mean, we are swimming in coffee. You've got all this stuff going on. We've got shelves in the basement here that are empty. I've got boxes. I got movers coming. I got all this stuff going on. I'm swimming in coffee today. If there's a day that I don't know what's going to happen in the next 12 hours, it's today. So imagine we're creatures built for these short-term things, having these goals 5 years out, 10 years out, 15 years out. I was listening just this morning to that great Les Brown piece. If you don't know who Les Brown is, fantastic motivational speaker with an amazing story. But Les Brown talked about Chinese bamboo. You might have heard about this, but for 5 years, Chinese bamboo doesn't grow, right? And after 5 years, it grows like crazy. It goes feet, 90 feet a day. I can't remember. Anyway, it goes skyward in a hurry after 5 years, but it takes that first 5 years to make sure it happens. And it's funny, everybody around you saying, yeah, come on, what are you doing, dude? Right? People around him. And I love it when Les talks about this. Hey, you've been out there playing in the dirt for like 4.5 years. What the heck are you doing? Oh, Chinese bamboo. Right. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, sure. No, you're not. You're not a little wacko. There's nothing here. And it's easy to do that. We're swimming in coffee every day. Set up your milestones, have your plan, and then work the plan. And hopefully, man, in this case, it was a fantastic rescue. It was riveting to watch. I'm so happy everybody was safe. I'm very sad that they lost a diver. But seeing the way that they systematically got that done at the end, I think that's where the correlation is with your financial planning. All right, let's say hi to everybody who's hanging out with us today on Facebook. We'll start off with some deep deep stuff. Our friend Jim's here today. Hey, Jim. Jim says people respect a person when they can maintain professionalism through difficulties. Everyone's been there. Absolutely. Wise words again from Mr. Wang. Ryan's here. Ryan giving me updates on the Tour de France, which he and I are following closely. James is here. Hey, James. Julianne's here. Who else we got? Kimberly's here. This was cool. Kimberly says that Facebook started the video without her clicking on it, so her whole office got to hear me say, "Good morning, stackers." That's always a good way to start the day for the whole office. Thanks for converting everybody. Randy says, awesome rescue. Cannot imagine what those boys went through. God bless all those involved. I totally agree, Andy. Leslie's here. Says a well-planned and well-executed rescue mission. Absolutely awesome job. I totally agree. I love the world community getting together to get these kids out. And I love reading about how systematic it got at the end. I don't know what it is. Maybe I should have been logistics, but I think that it was phenomenal to watch the process of making sure that these boys and their coach got out safely. Hey, let's go on to our second piece. which comes to us from CNBC. We're going to lighten it up slightly. We'll stop talking about kids trapped in a cave, and let's talk investing. How about that? JPMorgan, this is written by Ty Kim. JPMorgan says, buy Twitter shares because the fake account sell-off is overdone. You see what happened with the shares a couple days ago? From $47 a share all the way down to $42 a share. For $42 a share for Twitter. I mean, that's a monster sell-off in one day. But JPMorgan says, hang in there. Let's read. The recent drop in Twitter stock is a great buying opportunity, according to JPMorgan. The firm reiterated its overweight rating for the social media company stock, downplaying the impact of Twitter pruning fake accounts. On Friday, after the market closed, the Washington Post reported Twitter was ramping up its efforts in closing fake accounts. The article stated about 70 million accounts were suspended in May and June, with a similar pace continuing in July. Shares of Twitter closed down 5.4% Monday. Quote, overall, we believe there's confusion around these numbers. The correlation to reported metrics is misunderstood and the sell-off is overdone. We'll be taking advantage of the weakness and recommend buying Twitter shares, analyst Doug Anmuth said in a note to clients Monday. Twitter shares rose 1% on Tuesday after the report. The analyst reaffirmed his $50 price target for Twitter shares, representing 13% upside to Monday's close. Anmuth said the company removing spammy and suspicious accounts is a positive for the company over the long term. Quote, importantly, improving quality on the platform is critical for the health of the service and attracting more users and driving stronger engagement over time, he said. I'll have the rest of this on my Twitter feed at Average Joe Money, but let's dive into this piece because it's so interesting to see what people do when the knee-jerk reaction people have when Twitter says, hey, 70 million accounts I'm suspending. Because initially what they think, and why would the stock go down? The stock goes down because Twitter's advertising revenue is based on reach, right? People with real accounts. And when you say that 70 million of your accounts are not real and you turn them off, all of a sudden the reach of Twitter versus what people thought it was becomes smaller. These people too smart for their own good start doing a bunch of math and they go, oh, they're not going to get the advertising dollars they used to be able to get. It's definitely a sell, and they sell it off. And yet I agree with JPMorgan on this one because it's always a better idea for a company. It's always a better, I can't stand window dressing. When it comes to buying stocks, when I see stocks that are worried about window dressing, I loved Disney. Just case in point, I loved Disney. When Eisner and Company first took over, Eisner, Frank Wells, Jeffrey Katzenberg, they took this sleeping giant, they renovate it, they do all the stuff, they get these assets out in the open. This is stuff that should have been done. Early in the Disney years, the Eisner years, it was great. Late in the Eisner years, before Bob Iger, it was horrible. It was window dressing after window dressing, pumping things up for the next quarter. When you see companies pumping things up for the next quarter and thinking so short term about the company, you're mortgaging something in the future, right? I mean, you see this in professional sports. Susan is here. Susan knows what I'm talking about. You'll see these teams that are just trying to keep it alive for one more year. And listen, in baseball, where there's a trophy at the end of the season, that's great. There's no trophy at the end of next quarter for General Motors, right? There isn't. I know that's a shock. Surprise. Happy day. Sorry. I should have said spoiler alert on that one. There's no trophy. So with a business, it's more about long-term. And whenever CEOs start window dressing, you're mortgaging the future. Baseball teams mortgage the future when they try to squeeze out the trophy this year. But at least they get the trophy. No trophy for business. So I really like this. Listen, forget about these 70 million accounts aren't there anyway. And who cares about the short term? I don't know about the 50 price number. And please, please, please don't go by Twitter today because you heard Joe say that this article said that a JPMorgan dude thinks that this stock should trade at 50. Don't do that. I'm just saying fundamentally, there's two ways to live your life. And this is a great thing for your work. If you're spending your time on window dressing versus on the long-term health of your finances, right? I'm trying to make sure I make the minimum payments. I'm trying to make the exterior of my house look good while the inside is rotting. I'm trying to make sure I look great for the neighbors. I don't have any life insurance, no disability insurance. Start from the foundation and build up, and you'll have a much, much more solid house. And I think that that is the lesson from headline number 2. We're going to leave it there. Hey, in just a second, we're going to do the big idea for today. We're going to take these 2 headlines. How am I going to take kids in a cave being rescued and tie that together with Twitter stock being reaffirmed by JPMorgan? We'll get to that here in a second. But first, let's talk about FamZoo. Our friend AJ's here. She says FamZoo is bae. You know, it's funny. FamZoo is amazing. I totally agree with AJ, because when it comes to teaching your kids about money the modern way, FamZoo is exactly squarely where it's at. I never learned about credit until I got to college. And I went to Mark Clark Hall at the Citadel, which was our student union. I walk in, there's a table there. I don't remember if they were giving me a free blanket or a Frisbee or something, but I got myself an American Express card. Now, the joke later was I became a spokesperson for the company with the media after they took my card away, right? Well, I mean, years after they took my card away. But the joke was on them because they still hired me, still had me speak on behalf of them. But American Express was the way I learned how difficult credit was. I took all my friends out to lunch. I bought myself a sweater. I packed it a little bit ago. I should have shown it for the people on Facebook before I packed it, because this thing was 1987 sweet. I mean, just incredibly sweet. It had, well, someday I'll show you, but it's purple with this awesome collar. Just fantastic. Totally looks like 1987. And I bought it, and I didn't have a job, but I had an American Express card that they gave me. You can find out the way I found out, which was slowly repairing my credit over a number of years, or you can help your kids do a better job. And all those tools and a great Facebook community of users of FamZoo are all at stackingbenjamins.com/FamZoo. If you use our link and you decide to buy FamZoo, guess what? They send us a little thank you for sending you, for us sending you their way. So you end up helping yourself and you help the show. So thank you very much to everybody who's done that. All right. Clearly AJ's a fan. All right. Let's talk through this big idea here, because we got 2 of them. Thai kids are safe. My big point there was how systematic it was, and setting up milestones toward your goal. They set guide ropes and they had a plan ahead of time. I love this idea when it comes to your financial plan. I never see people with milestones. Where do I need to be 12 months from now with my money to reach that goal? Where do I need to be 2 years out? When we're looking at long-term goals, especially if you're young, it's so hard to stay on pace. And listen, even if the pace isn't what it's ultimately going to be, i.e. you're going to change, you're going to say, you know what, I don't like that goal anymore, I want to change it. At least you're going toward something. Keep that something. I just started training for 5Ks. I stopped because I wasn't sure if I wanted to tell the story or not, but I started my mouth open before my brain engaged. So we'll tell it. But a friend of mine today out on the track while we're doing quarters said, it's great to have a solid goal. And even if it's not the final goal, it's great to have a solid goal. We did 12 quarters this morning because of the fact that we had a solid goal. I never would have done it had I not had a solid goal for myself of doing great at this 5K in about 5 weeks. The point's the same for you and for your money. On the other side, window dressing, right? Twitter gets rid of 70 billion fake accounts. People sell them. Stock goes from 47 to 42. And at the same time, JPMorgan says, oh man, we're going to pick up shares cheap. Once again, I don't know if they're cheap. I haven't looked at Twitter. Please don't go buy Twitter because of this article. I'm just saying that window dressing versus doing the right thing as a company, Twitter's doing the right thing here. Twitter's doing a fantastic thing. It's going to make the company stronger. I don't know where the stock's going to be, but stay away from window dressing with your life and build a solid foundation. And notice that all these go back to the beginning of professionalism. And you know, we're going to end today a little differently. We're going to end it where we started, which is professionalism. You owe it to yourself to run your finances as if you're the CFO of your family. it's funny when we make personal decisions, we make these emotion-ridden decisions. Not even emotional, emotion-ridden, I think is a better term. And then we go to work and we make these logical decisions. We tell the boss, hey, look, I built spreadsheets. I did this stuff. Here's what I did. And you show the boss all this cool stuff you did. Then you go home and you get emotional again. Run it like you're the CFO of your company. Because really, of the two companies, which one's more important? No matter how important that company is, hopefully it's all to support what's going on at home. And you owe it to yourself and you're true to yourself if you manage your money like a pro. That's it, guys. Thanks for hanging out today, everybody on Facebook. Thanks for hanging out, everybody at home. Go stack some Benjamins. We'll see you again back here next time.
Money in the Morning is created by Joe Saul-Sehy and is brought to our channels by our producer and engineer, Richie Rutter-Reese. Stacking Benjamins and Money in the Morning are for entertainment purposes. Before making moves, consult with your financial advisor. Looking for training sessions? Kathleen Selmans has a great suite of Stacking Benjamins tools, so head on over to learn.stackingbenjamins.com. Hoping to chat with us on the web? Say hello to Shannon Cowan, our social media guru and community manager in our Facebook group. She can be found at stackingbenjamins.com/basement. From the basement, I'm Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug. See you tomorrow.
All right. Thanks for hanging in there with me, guys. Today was a little brutal. I don't know if it's that it's moving day and my head's in two places, or the fact that I don't like doing headlines that are life or death. It's so difficult, but there were so many cool lessons, and I really loved reading about how they orchestrated that. Like when they needed a professional plan, that was pretty awesome. So here's something funny. When you have this podcast, people send you books, like authors that want to be on the show. That's why we give away so many books. So it's pretty funny. Thanks, Leslie. So it's pretty funny that I finally, though, for the first time yesterday, had a board game company reach out to me and say, hey, you want to try out some of our board games? I know you're a big board game fan. You want to try out some of we're going to be at Gen Con with all these games. You want to try them out? One of them is True Colors. It's, let me see the name of I'll give them a little press here. It looks like it's Goliath Games in Dallas. It looks like. I love these small board game companies. You don't get into board games because you're interested in making a bunch of money. You get into board games because you absolutely love it, because there is no money. It's funny. I've had so many people that over the years have said, my brother-in-law said this once, said, hey, let's go make a board game. We'll make a bunch of money. Nobody making board games makes money. I think there's like 4 board game designers alive that are full-time, maybe 5. There are 5 that I know of who can design games full time. And by themselves, not working for a company like Hasbro or somebody. There's certainly those people that are on somebody's payroll, but somebody that just makes games and sells them. It's crazy. So anyway, somebody's sending me some games. It's going to be interesting. And I just realized I sent them in the wrong address. I sent them this address, and I'm not going to be here starting tomorrow. So I got to go. All right, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.